this video, you will learn how to identify the complements in a sentence. A complement is a word or word group that completes the meaning of a verb. And if we look at those two words, complement and complete, they have the same root. So it's pretty easy to remember that's the purpose of a complement, is to complete. Sometimes we have a group of words that has a subject and it has a verb, but it can't be a complete sentence because it doesn't express a complete thought. That's where complements come in. They complete the meaning in order to help us create complete sentences. Here's an example. Sarah bought. Well, I have a subject and I have a verb, but I don't know what Sarah bought. Sarah bought a bagel. So bagel is the complement. Eddie felt. Again, I have a subject and I have a verb, but I don't know what Eddie felt. Eddie felt content. Content is the complement because it completes the meaning of the verb. Complements can be compound. That means that more than one word can function as a complement in a sentence. William Shakespeare wrote plays and poems. Subject, verb, William Shakespeare wrote. Well, what did he write? He wrote plays and poems. So both plays and poems function as complements in this sentence. Complements can be nouns, pronouns, or adjectives. Liz finished the marathon. What did Liz finish? The marathon, and marathon is a noun. Sylvia hugged me. What did Sylvia hug? Me, which is a pronoun. The students appeared sleepy. How did the students appear? Sleepy, which is an adjective. Complements are not adverbs. In other words, they might seem like they're doing the same thing, but they function very differently in the sentence. Let's take a look at this with an example. Emily works hard. In this sentence, hard is an adverb that tells us how Emily works. It's not completing the sentence. It's not giving me more information about what she's working on, but it's describing how she works. The avocados are hard. Here I have the same word, but I have a different type of verb. I have a linking verb. In this sentence, hard is a complement that completes the meaning of the verb are. If I leave out hard, then I don't have a complete thought. I don't have a complete sentence. I need the word hard to complete the meaning of the verb. In this sentence, it describes the avocados. It's an adjective rather than functioning as an adverb that tells us more about how they are. Here's a little tip. If you're having trouble telling the difference between adverbs and complements, use the adverb questions. That's really what they're for. If the word that you're wondering about tells us where, when, how, or to what extent about a verb, then you most likely have an adverb. Complements are never part of the prepositional phrase. This is one of the reasons that we learn prepositions early. In this sentence, Jessie read the book. Jessie's the subject. Read is the book. Read is the verb, and book is the complement because it completes the meaning of read. It tells us what Jessie read. The sentence is slightly different. Jessie read from the book. Jessie's still the subject. Read is still the verb. But now I have a slightly different structure. I have from the book. That preposition from changes the way book is operating in this sentence. Book is now the object of the preposition from rather than being an object of the verb read. This is another tip, and this actually works for identifying so many aspects of a sentence. before you do anything else, go through the sentence and isolate the prepositional phrase by drawing a box around it. Once you do that, then you know anything in that box can't be doing another job in the sentence. If it's in that box, that means it's already the object of a preposition, which means it cannot also be the complement of a verb or the subject of a sentence or really anything else. Each word can only do one main job at a time. The subject complement is a specific type of complement. This is a word or word group that completes the meaning of a linking verb and identifies or modifies the subject. This is one of the reasons that it's really important to learn the difference between linking verbs and action verbs. So if you're still fuzzy on that, make sure that you watch those two videos. Here's an example. Andrew is an excellent swimmer. Andrew is the subject. Is the linking verb. What is Andrew? He's a swimmer. That's the complement. The dog looks hungry. Dog is the subject. Looks is the linking verb. And hungry completes the meaning of that linking verb by describing the dog. There are two main types of subject complements, predicate nominatives and predicate adjectives. So let's take a look at the same two sentences. Andrew is an excellent swimmer. We already identified swimmer as the complement. Now we just need to determine if it's a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. And that's really straightforward. Is the word you're talking about a noun or an adjective? In this sentence, swimmer is a noun, which makes it a predicate nominative. The dog looks hungry. Here we identified hungry as the complement. Is hungry a noun or an adjective? It's an adjective, which makes it a predicate adjective. Subject complements only go with linking verbs. Action verbs don't have subject complements. They have direct and indirect objects. Again, for more information on those, there is a video about direct and indirect objects, which I also suggest you watch. Here's a little example. I tasted the pineapple. Tasted is an action verb. How do I know? A couple of reasons. One, in this sentence, tasted is something that I'm actually doing. I tasted. What did I taste? The pineapple. In this sentence, because I have an action verb, pineapple's a direct object. In the sentence, the pineapple tasted delicious. Tasted is a linking verb, which makes delicious a predicate adjective. This can be a little bit confusing to tell the difference, so try this trick. With linking verbs, the complement is linking back to the subject of the sentence. So the linking verb functions almost like an equal sign. So if you can substitute an equal sign for the linking verb, and that's the basic meaning of the sentence, then you probably have a linking verb. So if we try it here, the pineapple tasted delicious. Okay, the pineapple equals delicious. Yeah, that works. That's really what the meaning is. Delicious is describing pineapple. But if we go back to the direct object sentence, we see that doesn't work. I tasted the pineapple. I equals pineapple? No, unless we're talking about Halloween, I am not a pineapple in the sentence. So pineapple doesn't describe I, it's the thing that is being tasted, which is one of the ways that we know we have an action verb and a direct object, as opposed to a linking verb and a predicate adjective. All right, here are some sentences just to practice quickly what you've just learned. Take a moment to pause the video and complete the directions. In the first two sentences, you're just going to underline the complement. In the second two sentences, you only have subject complements. You're going to identify them and then determine whether each is a predicate adjective or a predicate nominative. Number one, the storm last week caused power outages. So I want to find the subject, storm, and the verb, caused. What completes the meaning of caused? What was caused? The outages. Number 2, the storms were very intense. My subject is storms. My verb is were. What were they? What completes that meaning? Intense. Number 3, the thunder became louder as the storm approached. Thunders, my subject, became is my verb. What did it become? It became louder. Is louder a noun or an adjective? Is it describing or identifying? Louder is an adjective, so that makes this a predicate adjective. And finally, number 4, the worst part of the storm was the power outage. Part is the subject. Remember that of the storm is a prep phrase, which means that storm cannot be a subject or a complement. So part is my subject, and what is completing the meaning of that sentence? Outage. Is outage a noun or an adjective? It's a noun, so outage is a predicate nominative. Now you're ready to try some more practice on your own.